Hi, I'm Malcolm Roberts and I'm here in Bicassia, Mackay, and I'm with Deb Lawson, the One Nation candidate for the federal seat of Dawson. So Deb, why are you standing as a candidate in the coming federal election?
I decided to run for Dawson for the fact that I am really scared for the future of my children and my grandchildren. The two major parties that we have currently are not held accountable. They need to be held accountable. They need someone in Parliament to stop them.
Well, I call them the failed old parties because we've had a duopoly of Liberal, Labor, and both of them now just follow the Greens. The Greens set the agenda, Labor Party follows to get their preferences, Liberal Party follows to make sure they don't get too many preferences.
Yeah, I'm sick of sitting back and complaining.
Right.
You know, it's just my husband and I, we sit down every night and complain about what's going on, and I just thought it's time to try and make a difference.
You had a wonderful comment a little while ago about what patriotism has become.
I know, and it's really sad where patriotism is now referred to racism, and that's really sad because I love my country.
And that's what's coming when we let the Greens lead our country, which is what's happening.
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself. What's your background?
So my background is I grew up in Sydney. And moved out of Sydney in the beginning of 1995 to a rural town in Queensland that I've lived in regional Queensland now since then and absolutely love it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've lived in a couple of regions in Queensland. They're beautiful.
They are. And people are so friendly and yeah, they just want to help.
And that's one of the things that annoys me because Queensland's the only state where there are more people outside the capital city than inside the capital city. And yet the Labor Party in particular ignores everyone outside the capital because that's where they get their votes now. They've abandoned the workers, they've abandoned the farmers, and they just go for the city dwellers. Absolutely,
and you know, we will get on to, you know, different things that are happening and my major concerns, but with our mining royalties, we don't get any of that spent here. It's all spent in the southeast on new tunnels and new roads, and we get nothing. So
what are, speaking of not spent here, what are some of the issues in Mackay and in Dawson all around?
Well, one of the major issues is, electricity prices.
Yep, that's everywhere.
It is, and we don't have any competition here. We have one supplier and one supplier only, so we can't even keep them honest. They can charge us what they like.
And One Nation stands alone there and having policies that basically say, get the UN out of our lives, dump the Paris Agreement, get the renewable energy targets out, stop the subsidising of major, massive solar and wind farms, because that's just crippling, because the people who don't have those are now paying for them, and they're subsidising the wealthy who can afford it. So we're saying basically get back to basics, baseload coal-fired power stations, and you can put them in North Queensland.
Absolutely. And the coal doesn't have far to travel.
Exactly, and we've got the best coal in the world. What about things like tourism? You've got the Labor Party and the Greens trashing the Great Barrier Reef. And people overseas, honestly, they say, the reef's dead, why go to Australia? But
the reef's not dead. The reef is not dead and far from it. We rely on tourism in Mackay, with Sundays. You know, the whole area or whole electorate of Dawson is a lot of tourism as well as the mining maintenance.
And you're also mentioning that Mackay's a hub for servicing the coal mines.
It is.
And also it's a suburb, or not a suburb, what do you call it, residential area for a lot of people who drive in, drive out.
Absolutely, yeah. So we suffered a lot in the last downturn. Mackay actually lost 30% of their population, which really hurt. That really hurt the town. So, you know, there was a lot of vacant properties, so people weren't getting their rental income. A lot of people that had to leave town that lost money because my house itself, we lost $140,000 in value from when we bought it. So a lot of people just packed up and left. And we're finding it hard really now to actually get the people back.
And I've noticed, so I talk about 5 main issues. The first one is cost of living, and that's driven by electricity prices, which are absurdly high, gas prices for some areas of Australia, petrol prices. I want to know why they go up and then come down and go up and come down without changing in our currency exchange rate or our oil prices. And also taxation. We've got multinationals paying no company tax whatsoever, while we've got some of the highest tax rates for families and individuals.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. The second one is immigration, which doesn't impact you greatly here, other than it keeps wages low because we've got far too many people coming in chasing not enough jobs. Probably 457 visas, the temporary visas, work visas, that's probably affecting Mackay a lot. And Bill Shorten, when he was Industrial Relations Minister, he actually let in far more 457 visas than ever before and ever since. And the third area, of course, is infrastructure. And infrastructure, you've already mentioned, Bruce Highway needs a hell of a lot of improvement.
It does.
But the big one is the one you started with. That's the lack of government accountability. And basically, Australia is now in a situation where our values are going to hell, our cost of living's gone to hell, our security is not what it should be, and we haven't got the investment in productive infrastructure. And so governments, as you hit the nail on the head, there's no accountability.
No, there's not accountability.
And the last one is our rights are being eroded. Our freedom of speech, freedom of association. People now are afraid to say things.
They are, and they shouldn't be afraid.
No.
They should not be afraid at all.
So, anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to help the people of Dawson. You know, I want to be a voice. One thing I do actually want to add is when I decided to run, I was actually asked if I was for a separate state of North Queensland. My original answer was yes, but then it was raised to me that would we be better off still staying the one state of Queensland, but having a better voice in Parliament to actually have improvements done in Queensland. And I really do believe that now. I don't believe that we need a second state in Queensland. We don't need a North Queensland. We just need someone better to run it.
Absolutely correct. The people of North Queensland have been neglected.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. And the reason is because more and more of the state's responsibilities are being taken to Canberra, and that's been happening for the last 50, 60 years. And that's what's destroying state responsibility. We need to come back to our constitution and have the states doing most of the work, because then they've got competition from the other states, and that's what keeps them open and honest. So I agree with you. Let's make North Queensland strong by making Queensland strong and giving North Queenslanders a fair shake.
And giving us a voice.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank
you very much for joining.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Lawson for Dawson.